Welcome to a long overdue episode number 4 of Nice and Sunny, the podcast. Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm really sorry. It's literally been 10 months. I recorded 3 episodes and then I didn't do anything on here for 10 months. So I'm really sorry about that. I would like to say I have good reason, but to be honest, I should have really used the time to produce some stuff. The good thing is, all this time I've been away doing stuff will feed me for years and decades and centuries to come with stuff to talk about. So you will not miss out on what I've been up to, because it will definitely be there for it will be fodder for more stories and learnings about life, the nomad life and all that kind of stuff. And also I have been recording video blogs throughout this time, but I will go into that a little more in detail in just a bit, and will tell you how you can catch up on what I've been up to the last couple of months, but I will fill you in now. So, first of all, the last episode we talked about was about being fit for travel, and it was relevant. I was just about to embark on a round the world trip. So basically I went on a sabbatical for 3 months, traveling the world, and it was literally once around the globe. So I called the whole thing Project Globe Rocker. It was all booked through STA Travel on a round the world ticket, and I went to New Zealand, Australia, Thailand, to Hong Kong, to Tokyo, to Las Vegas, Reno, and then back to Europe, once around the globe. So that's in a nutshell where I've been. And since then a lot of stuff has happened. I returned back to Europe just to basically part ways with the company I worked for. I was working for PokerStars. It was a total of 11 years I've been working for them, and I had started thinking about doing my own thing, starting my own business, just at the same time when they basically thought about that they didn't need me anymore. So it was a mutual decision for me to go, and it was all in good spirits and good faith, and I'm happy that I made that decision. And you probably wondered about the title for this podcast episode, and it basically happened then once I was allowed to announce that I'm leaving PokerStars, because obviously the poker world pays attention to stuff like that. I was at the Irish Poker Open in Dublin, so that was in April, and I had announced that I'm leaving Stars, and then a poker player came up to me, a famous Irish poker player. He's called Fintan Gavin, and he started walking up to me, and he shook my hand like strongly and said, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, "Okay, congratulations for your promotion." And I'm just like, "Where's this going?" And then he goes, "Congratulations for your promotion to freedom." And I loved that so much that he said that, that I made it actually a title of my another announcement, basically, where I explained a little more the reasons and so on and so forth. And I decided to make it the title of this podcast episode, because I felt it was pretty insightful what he said there, after having been in the 9-to-5 world for, I think it was a total of 13 or 14 years. And then if you count, I was self-employed as a video producer for a while. And before that, I had a 9-to-5 as well, or rather in Germany, it's 8-to-4. So having been in full-time employment for a while, yes, it is basically a step into freedom. And I'm very glad I took that. So what did I do with all that freedom, you ask? Well, I can tell you right now, I'm sitting in a bedroom in a house of a very nice family in a little town called Homer in Alaska, in the United States of America. it's a completely random thing, but I will also get a little more into detail how it came to that. So actually, I can tell that right now because chronologically, this actually happened before I recorded the last podcast. So exactly a year ago. So it was in September 2018. I was just visiting back in the Isle of Man. So I was just over for a month's time. But, I was based in Dublin, so it was just a visit for a few weeks in the Isle of Man. And I was living in a bed and breakfast. I had a good deal with them for like £800 for the month. I had accommodation and food, so breakfast, which was pretty cool. And one morning, I bumped into, there was another lady sitting in breakfast, and she was talking, and I heard she had an American accent. So I was like, oh, so where are you from, blah, blah, blah. And we started talking, and so she asked about some advice on what to go and see in the Isle of Man. And I said, well, I had been living here in the past for 6 years, so I know the island quite well. And it turned out that she wanted to do some sightseeing on Saturday, and I said, I don't have anything to do. I'm happy to just drive you around and show you the island, and it gives me the chance to, visit all those spots again myself, because it was 2 years earlier that I had left the Isle of Man and moved to Dublin. So she took me up on that offer, and she had a rental car, and I started driving her almost the whole day, I would think, around the Isle of Man, telling her all these stories and telling her where the best photo ops were. And while we were driving, she told me that she was going to organize an arts festival in Alaska. And she didn't really know about, how to do social media and stuff like that. And I said, well, I can help you. So I started just chatting with her about that, giving her some advice. And then at some point I offered to, on a completely voluntary basis, to help her out, just help out a friend. And then obviously at some point she said, you should also come to Alaska and be here during the event. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that, because at the time I was still in employment. But I said, well, if we happen to do this, because there was a year to go, then, because she said she can't really pay me. And I said, how about you just give me accommodation and 1 meal a day? And she said, okay, deal. So and then since then, it was just always in my head to try and make that happen. So I was helping her with the social media accounts, and it's all on a volunteering basically for this event. And then in the meantime, I actually did leave PokerStars and started my own business. So I started planning this into my plans for 2019, that I will be in Alaska for the festival, and keep volunteering here. So this is what actually happened. So after a trip to, because obviously the first thing that I would do if I'm free to go wherever the hell I want, I went to Las Vegas for the summer, for the World Series of Poker. I will tell you a little more about, I will fill in the gaps in a little bit. And then I decided then obviously in September I would go to Alaska. And because I had to leave the US for a bit, because you can only be here for 3 months on a visa, I went to Canada for a bit. I was in Vancouver Island for a month, spent some time there, met some friends there, and then went to Alaska. And here I'm just helping out my friend Sally, organizing this arts festival. Well, not organizing that. So I was basically just taking photos and videos of it, and keep on working with the social media stuff, all on a volunteer basis. And as a thank you, I got a nice little bedroom here in the house, and 1 meal a day. So that was a pretty good deal. And I can live with stuff like that. Obviously, it's going to be difficult because I do have to earn some money for a few things. So the festival just ended, and now I can finally focus on projects like, for example, this podcast, and also some of the projects that make me money. So let's rewind a little bit. What I did is, after I left Stars, I moved back to Germany. So since basically early May, I am back based in Germany. I'm not actually, located there most of the time, but I'm paying my taxes there and I have my health insurance there and all that kind of stuff. So this is my base at the moment. I'm not sure for how long I'm going to do it, because Germany is complicated, and at the moment I'm not paying a lot of taxes because I'm still like I forgot how that term is in English, but because I'm earning below a certain amount of money, I'm not paying a certain tax. There's different taxes that I'm paying, but once I have to pay that, it will be right around like 50% or something, or even more. And that is quite rough when you're starting out. And so I am looking into and considering moving my business and my residency as an e-residency to Estonia, because that's quite an interesting one. Estonia has a very interesting setup. They have understood many, many years ago that the world is going digital, and basically the whole country is set up to be digital. It's fascinating. It's a tiny country, and it's so much more advanced than, for example, Germany is. So they have this e-residency where you can have your business there, you can pay your taxes there, but you don't physically have to be in the country. And it's part of the European Union. So I would have a lot of benefits still that I have at the moment being in Germany, or at least registered in Germany. So yeah, so I'm still looking into that. It's not decided yet, but it's very likely that I'm going to make that move, but we'll see. So what I did then is, so I started my business in Germany, and got all the stuff set up. My business is set into two parts. One part is the creative solving, the stuff that I did for Stars in the end, the last 4 years working for them, was innovation and creative problem solving. So I became a certified facilitator for design thinking workshops and ideation workshops. So I can do this stuff for any business anywhere in the world. The only thing is, obviously, I do have to be physically there to run that workshop. It's not something you do over the internet or over a conference call or something like that. So that's why it hasn't really happened yet that I have done any kind of workshops of this sort. I've done one for free in Las Vegas, but yeah, I haven't done anything in that area that brought me any money yet. The interesting thing is, the second part of my business is content creation, which somehow brings back what my actual profession is, which is audio-visual media producer, which I had somehow lost along the way. And I was quite sad that I wasn't doing a lot of this stuff as a business anymore. I was still creating content on a personal level, like I was still doing vlogs, I was recording podcasts like this or something, I was making music, I was writing a book, so this is all content that is being created, right? Doing all the social media stuff and gaining a social media following and all that. So I've done that, but it was all for me personally. So it went pretty fast once I started announcing that I'm doing this stuff now, and contacting a lot of the people from my personal network, which is massive due to the whole poker thing, that I had jobs. So I'm still pretty much busy with a lot of different tasks that are a lot of podcast editing. I do translation work, I do some writing, I do some video production. So exactly all these things all of a sudden just bounce back, but through the poker connection world, most of it. So it's pretty cool. So I have work to do, I have stuff going on. It's obviously the money is not pouring in just yet, but it's enough to feel like I'm having a good start here, and it's definitely just a start, because I'm only it's like obviously like it's 5 months, so it's not like the business is only about 4 months, but that I left Stars is about 5 months. But to be honest, for a 4-month-old business, I feel like it's quite good, because I'm steadily earning more every month, so it feels good. I'm confident that this is going to go really well. And on the other hand, what obviously happened, because I was focusing on all this stuff that makes me money, a lot of things that are not making me money, like this podcast or my vlogs and so on and so forth, got a little on the back burner. Because, it is difficult to justify spending 4 hours editing a vlog if you could use that time to actually make money. So all these things fell a little bit off the wagon, but I am now finding a better groove. It was now during this arts festival here very difficult for me to do anything, because I was really out and about every day, taking photos. And if I wasn't taking the photos, I was editing or uploading and so on and so forth. So I'm slowly but surely getting back into the groove, getting some kind of a routine going, that I find the rhythm to say once a week there's going to be a vlog, once a week there's going to be a podcast, and etc., etc. In the meantime, I had started doing some shorter podcasts. You can find them on some platforms. I think they're not on iTunes. On some platforms under Mad or Nomad, that is the question. And those are just like really short ones that popped into my head, from learnings from the day, problems that I ran into, things that caused me anger or confusion. So these kind of short bursts of reflections of the day. I had a few, I think there's 8 or 9 now of those. So you can find those. They're a bit more short versions of my thoughts and reflections, basically. And besides the Globe Rocker episodes, which, by the way, I'm still editing, so those are from the first 3 months of this year about my round the world trip, but there's so much content that I'm still working on those. I had started something I call Follow My Week. It's not my idea. This is a concept that has been around, where I'm just taking an actual week of my life, and I'm making it a little more business focused, so a little more focused on this new life as a digital nomad. And I'm explaining some of the projects I'm working on, people I meet, interesting people I meet. I do some interviews with them, like really short ones, but just more stuff about me traveling the world, finding jobs, doing the jobs, meeting interesting people. So it's more focused on the work side of things, and it's called Follow My Week. I think it's going to be quite even soon, that it's more like a all-round thing. So it's all on the same channel. It's all on the Nice and Sunny, so Nice & Sunny on YouTube. So you can find all that there. And I'm do some editing on that. So I hadn't published a vlog in a while because I was just so busy actually earning money. So I do have to get into a proper routine and getting these things out. There's a lot of content still to come, and I just have to edit it. And I'm hoping to do these podcasts now on a more regular basis. I actually do have 2 interviews lined up here in Alaska. It's a shame that I was so busy, because there were so many interesting artists here that I could have spoken to, but there was just no time. So now that it's over, I hopefully have the time to interview 2 people that I have identified, that live here, and that I can still get hold of before I travel on. Right, okay, so this was a bit of a long-winded explanation of what I've been up to. The point of it all is basically, and that's why it's the promotion into freedom as well, we have the internet, right? So nowadays, you really do not have to be in a 9-to-5 job, sitting at a desk in one spot and be miserable. You can just choose what you like and make a business out of that, and do that from wherever the hell you want. If that is in your own home, fine. If that is at a workplace, fine. If it's in Thailand in a hammock, that's fine. And I've literally done exactly that. So I have been working now since I started my own thing. From my dad's couch, I started working from a hotel room. I was working in some bars or cafes, and I was literally working in a hammock in Thailand, in a jungle. So as long as you have internet and a computer, you can make money. And it's a very simple fact. And I do all kinds of different things now. I even do like transcriptions, which doesn't pay really well, but it's an easy thing to do just in between other jobs, just listen to some audio files, do some transcriptions. It's like another $5 here, another $10 there. Then I sometimes do website tests, which is another $10 for a test. And all this stuff sums up, but obviously the big stuff that I'm looking for are the editing and production stuff of media. And at the moment, I'm still cheap. So I'm telling you right now, if you want to hire me, I'm still fairly cheap. This is going to change fairly soon, I think, because I won't be able to keep that up otherwise. But at the moment, because most of my clients are friends, the rates are quite low. So yeah, if you want to have anything done like video editing, podcast editing, writing, translations, etc., at the moment I'm still cheap. Okay, so that was that. Then yeah, so it's basically about living your life, or let's just make it about me, living my life on my terms. Doing what I want to do and where I want to do it. So this is the beauty of it. So from that, I'd really like to tell you what I'm doing next. So as I said, right now I am in Alaska. The total stay here was will be 3.5 weeks. So I wasn't here for a full month. It was 3.5 weeks. But it's absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. Again, you can see some of the stuff on my Instagram. It's also at Nice and Sunny, and there will be vlogs, but it's going to take a little while till I get all that edited. But yeah, so the good thing is October will be a month where I can get a lot of stuff done, and hopefully everything edited, everything produced, and lined up until the rest of the year at least. So after this long stay here in Alaska, where it's slowly but surely getting colder and it's becoming autumn, I will flee from this and go via Seattle and Singapore to Thailand. So I will spend 2 nights, I think it's 3 nights. 3 nights in Seattle, because that's where my flight is going to Singapore. So I decided to stay a little longer, and being an old grunge girl and cried my eyes out over Kurt Cobain's death in 1994, I really want to go and see Seattle and a bit of grunge and punk history. Also planning to see the house where Kurt Cobain lived and died. So that's going to be a little time off. I'm actually meeting a friend there as well, so it's pretty awesome. So far it's been like amazing, because every place I went to, I had people that I knew. So some friends, somebody I can hang out with and do something with, which is a blessing, really. Having people all around the world. And once again, that is the internet, people. And all of those people that hate so much on Facebook and so on, this is exactly what makes it possible for me to stay in touch with people around the world and hang out and meet them and just expand the network and exchange stories. It's so valuable. Anyway, not getting into the whole don't hate on Facebook stuff. But yeah, so after that, I'll just have 2 nights in Singapore, because when I was doing my Globe Rocker around the world trip, but I'm not going to go more into detail about that, because I have documented all of that in vlogs. So you can just go to Nice and Sunny on YouTube and see all that stuff that I experienced there, from the Lord of the Rings stuff in New Zealand and Australia Day in Sydney. I went to Macau and in Hong Kong, and I've done a lot of pretty cool things the first 3 months of this year, and so I'm not going to go into all these details. As I said, there will be a lot of podcasts following where I can draw on the learnings and experiences that I made there. But yeah, so basically twice I had layovers in Singapore, but they were so short that I did not see anything of Singapore, and I'm fascinated by the history and that place in general. So I decided this time I'm adding 2 nights just to explore it a little before I'm traveling on to Thailand. And in Thailand, I'm going to stay for a whole month. And again, I'm going to give you more details as we go later. But this is going to be a very, very important crunch time for me, because it's going to be a cheap life. It's already all paid for. I paid for accommodation, and it also includes 2 meals a day. So I will barely have any costs while I'm over there. And it will be a lot of focus on getting stuff done, getting things in order, getting all my ducks in a row. Right, that's the saying. Getting all my ducks in a row. That's what the Thailand trip is going to be about. And then after that, I continue a little bit through Asia before then heading back to Europe in December. But I will tell you way more details on that as we go, because I am really making it a thing now to be more consistent with these podcasts. And a big plan is not just to be babbling by myself in this, but really to talk to a lot of people that I meet on the road, and have some interviews going, and share experiences with other people, and hear their stories. And because I'm fascinated by stories, I love stories. So I like to tell my own, but I also like to hear other people's stories. So as I said, it might be, and I really, really hope it will be, that the next 2 episodes will be with guests, with interviews here in Alaska. And then let's see what comes next. But to be honest, I have a list of, I think, 20 topics or so lined up. It was just always about sitting down, recording this stuff, because maybe like those of you that don't create content or something, the problem is, like, once you've recorded this, or actually like just, if I recorded the video, record the audio, that's not where it ends, right? You have to then edit it and make sure it sounds good and looks good, and then render it out, and then put it on the channels and write text that goes with it and promote it on social media, etc., etc. So it's not just sitting down and actually recording it, but also everything that comes afterwards. So that's what is always the thing that stops you of actually sitting down and recording it, because you know what comes afterwards. So my apologies for not having done anything in the last 10 months when it comes to the podcast, but truth be told, I did a lot of other stuff. So please, here's the plugs again. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Nice and Sunny. So it's Nice & Sunny. And see all the videos of all my travel experiences that I had. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of cool stuff there. And as I said, you also see the Follow My Week stuff, that is more about the business and how the digital nomad life looks like for me, the remote work, etc. There's so much more to come, so much more to edit and to publish. Follow me on Instagram. It's also at Nice and Sunny. I usually do stories there. I don't do too many actual posts, so you can see in the stories what I'm up to. My Facebook page, Nice and Sunny, also with an ampersand, is also always there. And the website, www, you guess it, niceandsunny.com. This is where I normally post everything that I publish somewhere else. So it's a good overview of everything else that's going out. But so just hook up with me on all these social media channels, and you will know what I'm up to. And I'm not going to promise, but I'm really hoping to do like a once a week podcast episode coming out. And if you want more shorter ones in between, look up Mad or Nomad podcast. As I said, it's not on all platforms, but it's definitely on Spotify. So there's a lot of stuff I want to tell you about. This is going to be a super interesting journey. It already has been. It hasn't fully sunk in yet. My body is still in this 9 to 5 mindset. So usually when the time is like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, I think, I'm almost done with work. So I have to really slap that out of myself to be more in this whole digital nomad thing, because there is no 5 o'clock go home thing. Sometimes you have to work till like 1 or 2 in the morning, which I've also done in the past. Also, I didn't mention I had a bunch of like health issues while traveling, which is never nice, but I can get into that at some other point as well. I will wrap this one up now because I've been talking for long enough. This was just a bit of an update about my promotion to freedom. left full-time employment after 11 years in the same company and started my own business, and I'm now location independent, traveling around the world, working from my computer and my phone. As long as I have internet, I can earn money. And yeah, if you have any questions about any of this, any comments, please feel free to send me an email to contact@niceandsunny.com, or any of the other forms of contacting me through social media channels. And if you're interested, I did do an interview recently with Christin Wilson. She is a specialist in the digital nomad life. We've only recorded the podcast, but it's hopefully coming out very soon. So feel free to look up Badass Digital Nomads. This is going to be on iTunes, on YouTube, and everywhere. I'm not even sure if she puts it on YouTube. Let's see. And then I did an interview in German with Mila Monroe. So if you know her, if you happen to be a German listening, you can look that up. That was on Twitch, but we're actually going to put that on the podcast platforms as well. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. As I said, I haven't been lazy. Just I have to learn to take care of everything at the same time and make sure that all these things happen and are being produced and are going live, and I'm not being distracted by, well, making money and and feeding myself in a way. Okay, so that's it. I stop babbling now. It's really good to talk to you guys again. I hope you enjoyed this little update from me. I hope you hear from me very, very soon. Goodbye from Alaska, and you're probably hearing me again from Alaska. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Okay, bye bye.